Let's talk about how do companies consider entering into new markets, or how do they, especially multinational companies, how do they evaluate a market or a country in particular. First and foremost thing, in my opinion, is the economic conditions of the country, and what are the rules and regulations that the country permit. For example, in a recent addressal, the Prime Minister indicated that his government is determined to continue the process of economic reforms, which will actually create a very favorable investment environment, and which in turn will facilitate investment flows, higher foreign direct investment flows. That is one part of it, in terms of the rules and regulations of the country supporting foreign direct investments. The other thing is, if you really look at Indian economy in particular, despite the economic recession, the country on an average has grown at a percentage of 9%, and it has managed to sustain the growth despite all the economic slowdown. So that's a considerable reason for countries to look at India in general. Let's look at retail market in particular. India is apparently the 5th largest retail destination globally, and it has been a very well accepted fact. That being the case, apparently the growth in the sector vis-a-vis 2009 to 2015 is projected to grow from close to about $350 billion to close to about $650 billion by 2012. Now that's a substantial size of market to target for any country or for any multinational organization. The other significant factor, especially in India, is the organized sector retail is just about 4%. Which means the potential for growth is extremely high. So secondly, we talked about the readiness of retail market. Let's look at the consumer readiness in particular, which is also related to a criteria which multinational companies would consider while entering into countries. Look at India. The rising middle class is pushing the demand for international goods. I mean, be it food products, be it consumer goods. That's one. The overall urbanization of consumers, increase in disposable income is particularly of interest for retail giants or global retail giants. Now, so overall, when you consider the economic conditions, the consumer readiness, the size of the market is good enough or large enough for any multinational company to determine to get into India in particular. Not many companies get into primary research when they enter into new markets. They would possibly rely on government data which the local government provides, and that is where the embassies play a very critical role in understanding economic reforms in the country, in understanding demographic details, which will help them determine, and particularly these kind of information that I just shared about. So in this context, it's very interesting to note that the Japanese External Trade Organization, also called JETRO, which is an apex body facilitating trade and investment between Japan and the rest of the world, for them to conduct, in the recent times, a 1-month FMCG mela or a food mela across with tie-up with Big Bazaar across 41 outlets in the country, spanning across the major metros like Mumbai, Delhi, Chennai, and other places. So when you look at it, Japanese consumer durables, automobiles, all of these have found a great acceptance in the country. However, the presence of FMCG goods has been very negligible, and that gives Japan, and especially with the economic reforms that our Prime Minister has promised, it gives them a good reason to come and test the market, create awareness about Japanese food products, and use that information to come in a big way in the country. So with that as a backdrop, it actually helps both countries because the Japan Mela gives Japanese companies an opportunity to test the marketplace and test whether their goods are acceptable, and for Future Group, which is Big Bazaar, for them, they have been pursuing a lot of international food labels as part of their offerings, and so a strategic tie-up with or tie-up for this Mela gives them the opportunity to promote themselves as a destination for FMCG goods. So I think that makes it a win-win situation for both the Japanese companies testing the marketplace and for FMCG giant Big Bazaar to establish its footprint with global brands.